Hey, Daryl, it's good to see you. Today, we are walking people through a retirement readiness checklist. And this is important because nearly 2 million older workers have left the labor force for
Mhm.
good since the start of the pandemic. So I want to know, how do you begin to figure out if you are on track to retire? I would assume that the first step would be calculating what you need to live on in retirement.
Sure, that's all a very good first step. And so, Aaron, I try to make this as simple as possible. And I know, like during the pandemic, we really had three things we had to consider: to wash our hands, keep our distance, and wear a mask.
Right,
You may not have liked it all the time, but it was simple. So
right.
I try to have it be as simple as possible because retirement can be complicated, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean the way we think about it has to be. So the first thing I think about always is protecting your nest egg. Now,
Okay.
we have to be careful. We can't be too conservative with our investments because then the plan doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, if we're not protected and there's a serious market event early on in retirement, it can really be quite impactful. So we have to protect our nest egg. The other thing, Aaron, is income taxes. And income taxes can be obviously a whole series of videos. However, we just want to make sure that the sources of income that we're drawing upon in retirement are taxed appropriately. There are ways to save money on taxes. And if you think about it, right, if you have a ton of money in your 401k, you haven't paid tax on any of that yet. So some of that money is the government. So we have to be careful on income taxes. And then more to the point of what we're discussing today is to create some kind of income plan. So you asked, right, should we have an idea of how much money we're going to spend in retirement? Yes, that's actually probably a very good idea because we know that we have what we need and what we want, and then we have
Hmm.
sort of higher level needs and so forth. So if we can have sources of income that are covering at least the wants and most of the needs, then we're probably going to be in pretty good shape.
Well, that would make me happy if we could, yeah, figure that out exactly. The other thing that I always hope is that there's magic numbers that make these topics that are super complicated easy for me to understand. And one of them that you hear about all the time is this is the number that you need in your bank account if you want to retire. Is there a magic number? Do I have a magic bullet?
I'll give you a very simple answer. No. And I love these. I just feel like there's so much noise and there's so much stuff that people
Yeah.
read. But I'll try to say this succinctly. There's no magic number. Everybody is different.
Hmm.
Everybody has a different level of taxation. Some people have pensions. Some people work longer. Everybody is different. So there's no number, and there's no way. There's no way that some article is going to say, oh, it's $1 million, it's $800,000, it's 30% of this, or I mean, that stuff sort of drives me crazy. And I have to be honest, there's really no way of doing it. So what is so important is to just to get with a financial professional. If you want more help from me or to discuss it, you can always go to roseadvisorygroup.com. We can talk about it. But what's important is to have a simple way to here are my expenses and here are the income sources that are gonna pay for them. I think that if we can figure that out, then you're in the 58% of Americans who I guess we could say have a clue on how to move forward in retirement.
Yes. Well, you are helping me become one of the 58%, Daryl. This was very helpful to see how you boil it all down. And you've laid out good reasons why this is complicated and why somebody should be speaking with a professional. Let's say it one more time though. What's the best way to reach you if somebody would like a little bit more help?
So if you go to roseadvisorygroup.com, and if you look up in the upper right hand corner, it'll say speak to us, and you can
Hmm.
click and get right into my virtual calendar, and we can just talk as friends about these various options.
That's great. All right, Daryl, thank you.
You're welcome.